You're listening live here on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show. You're listening live to the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show. Your host, brought to you by Brent. Listener, coast to coast, north to south, and yes, maybe even in Antarctica. And if you're listening in Antarctica, go ahead, give us a thumbs up, and a like, and subscribe. Be sure to follow us on our other social media platforms, the YouTube channel, The Koolykool Show. You can also follow us on our TikTok channel, The Koolykool Show. Follow us on Twitter, at Koolykool2412. Yes, you be ready to present here now to your host, Brent. Here he is.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. All right, you're listening to another episode here, our 66th episode here on the coolest of the cool, the Koolykool Show with your host, Brent, kicking here live from coast to coast, north to south, and yes, maybe even in Antarctica. And if you're in Antarctica and you're hearing us, let me know what you're thinking. All right, so the title of this episode is going to be called Conspiracy Theories for 2023, or 2023 Conspiracy Theories. So, as you know, if you listen to my channel before, I like to talk about a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of things that just are odd, or don't make much sense, or have questionable avenues. Yes, indeed. So, let's just dive into it. Kuro, for one, hope you're having a very wonderful start of to your 2023. For those that are going to the gym, starting a New Year resolution by losing weight, getting in shape, let me know, how long are you lasting? How long did you last? Did the membership, it's about to be toward the end of January, coming up a couple weeks. Let me know if your membership is only for a month and you just said, hell, I'm going to try to do some home workouts or whatever. Let me know how you did. I'm not hating on anybody, but hey, gotta do what you gotta do, right? So, for the most part, really haven't heard much of new conspiracy things as though revolving ones. And if we're going to touch base on that one, and we'll touch base on the old ones and some ones that happened last year, that pretty much just looking back now, just laughing my ass off about it, because it's a bunch of bullshit. So let's delve into a lot of the talk from early last year. It was like more of the springtime, where they were so big on with, like, commercial space flight. They were talking about how you're going to have commercial space flying where people could pay to go into space or go to the International Space Station, yada, yada, X, Y, and Z. But the plane ticket for that was going to be $250,000. One person, one ticket. I don't even know if they said it was going to be round trip. All I know is just for tickets, so I'm guessing, just a one way. That would suck. There could be some serious problems with that. But for the most part, that's what they were. They were, ostracizing that because they were doing the new spacesuits for the commercial entities that they had going on, and this looks so great. This will be great. This is what they'll. And there was launches. There's a highly talk about this. Now, if you follow my podcast and follow my shows, I talk extensively about space programs and things of that nature. Now, for one, people will say, yes, you are a conspiracy theorist. Let's just say I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I am a realist on certain shit. All right? So, as being a realist for certain shit, let's go ahead and put it this way. as a realist for certain shit, I would like to say that when talking about certain programs, you'd like to see it take off and you'd like to see it prosper and to actually lead our species, our human species, into the new digital, whatever way they would scientifically say it, way of how things are going to transpire in the upcoming years into the future. A lot of technological advances have occurred. A lot of things have happened. But frankly, from what I've seen, it seems as though it's a ploy for a money grab. Yes, I said it is a pure thing for a money grab. Flying to space costs money. It's not costing a little bit, it's going to cost a lot. Like, let's put this, for instance, the Saturn V rocket from the back in the day that got the astronauts to the moon is still to this day the largest man-made rocket ever. And the most powerful man-made rocket ever to launch fucking anything. And with including our astronauts out into outer space get them to the moon. That's the largest rocket ever made, man-made. Like I said, I'm saying man-made rocket ever, and most powerful one too. They can't duplicate it anymore, because as we all heard, it's because it's lost the technology. Just don't know how to do it anymore. More or less, they just don't feel like it because of the funding. And that's one of the biggest conspiracy theories is that always says about its funding. And for the funding, it always comes down and says, oh, well, you just didn't have the funding for it. Well, I do believe that they probably spent a boatload of money manufacturing, building, constructing, planning, detailed, everything down to the very last bit to ensure that everything was right so they wouldn't have a catastrophic, failure of the Saturn V rocket going up there and just blowing the hell up. No, they had to make sure everything was safe, secure, and things like that to make sure the safety of everything was held. But they can't duplicate that now. Now what they're having is rockets that are much, much half the size of the Saturn V that is now able to reverse land vertically. So it will take off, shoot up way into the cosmos. Well, I'm not going to say cosmos because cosmos being another fucking solar system. But shoot up way out into the atmosphere and then get to such a point. And then it will come back down and it will use the reverse thrusters. Enable them and to land vertically. Because the reason behind that was they're trying to plan a mission to Mars in the near future. When is it? No one knows. But they're trying to have a planned mission to Mars. So since we don't know really the terrain, even though we have the hundreds of thousands of pictures of Mars, and they kind of say, well, we don't even have a runway, so we're going to have to be able to reverse thruster down and land, and then be able to propel itself up into its atmosphere and back and come back, to Earth. Tell you right now, I'm a big stickler for this, and I've always have, and I've always said it's two-way street with this shit. All right, it's a two-way street. Am I saying it right? Two-way streak with this. All right. And if you ask me, and I'll be front runner, I'll be telling you how it is, because this is how I tell people when I talk to them. They ask me certain questions about what's going on, what do I think, this and that, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. So, first of all, a lot of people like to say, oh, you're a flat earther because you're a conspiracy theorist about certain shit. First of all, I am not a flat earther. 2, I am a globe believer. I believe that the earth is a round sphere. That's what I believe. Reason why? Maybe it's because I've heard it so many times. I've seen it so many times in books. And to my conclusion, I just based it on that because that's what I believe. Which, science has ruled out any form of belief. So if you are into science, you do not take on the fact of belief or believing that something is what it is. If you're in the science realm, you're based on scientific evidence, which has transpired into factual evidence, where there is no room for anything other than a two-piece and a biscuit. Well, let me break that a little bit down for me if you didn't get my drift on the street lingo for that. Is meaning you cannot question it because it's fact. It's not fiction. It's fact. It's fact. It's not a belief. It's a fact. Plain and simple. So there's no room for argument. That's what science has said. That's what science is leading to. But at the same time, if you're going to take from what science is, not everything in science is bullshit. But some of the things in science can be questioned upon. But if you're going to take up the fact to say, I'm going to take science for what it is, I'm going to take it as a fact, you have to take some type of form of leap of faith in order to believe what science is saying is to be fact. So you have to believe from what has been told from past and past and past up till now to be true and accurate. Though science is evolving. So when they find something different or find something that they can say, well, now we have scientific evidence, you have to take it for what it is. So now it would be assumed that scientific evidence would suggest fact instead of a theory, as in scientific world will like to illustrate first. We have a theory, but then once they have some evidence, now it turns into a fact. So if you believe in the fact, you still take what? It's a belief. So science is a different form of what? A religion. Yes. Science can be called a different form of religion because if you're going to believe everything in science, well, I don't want to put that, but it goes two hand in hand. But if you're going to take everything in science to be true and accurate, you have to take a leap of faith and believe that is what it is. That's the same way as religion. So, that's my scope on it. That's my principle on it. Now, not everything in science is complete bull crap. Science does a lot of goods. There are things in science that has made things a lot better for us. It is really good. Like those who say, getting vaccinated, that's getting hurt and killed. They want to, purge everyone and this and that. Look, those people who are going off the hinges with that and they're talking about, it's gauzy, this and that. First of all, let's get something up. Back in the day, you had polio disease, which caused the inability later in longevity in people's lives back in the old days where it would affect them by walking. One of our very few presidents had polio disease, and it restricted him. Now, it wasn't until, I believe, the 50s and 60s where there was a vaccine, the polio shot came into play, which helped prevent that from happening. People kind of question it because they didn't know their full side effects. Now, I did a podcast a long time ago about as far as things being, as they go. And people say, it's not even proved by the government for testing this. And I explained this, how long the premise I had explained how long to actually ensure that it is factual, because technically with all those things, it takes years upon years. And then when you're going to do a category as far as monitoring, see how many people have this or that has came from it, you have to be able to put it into a statistical form. You would have to monitor somebody. They would have to come in back and forth, ask them certain questions. You would have to take a group of people. They've done this. But at the same time, they're still monitoring how it's going because everything is evolving. Like I don't know whether you or not have been to the grocery store. A dozen of eggs at this point in time, a large jumbo, that shit's about $6, close to $7. Hey, I don't know what it is, but I remember beforehand they said there was a chicken shortage where they didn't have enough wings and wings was expensive. The price for wings going up. But I mean, that was like about a year ago. Now, my thing with that take is, and I know I might be getting a little sidetracked, is like, that was like a year ago and they were having shortages of wings. So that means they were having what? They were having a little shortage on chickens, right? So then would be a shortage on eggs. Am I correct? Not enough, chickens laying some hens, But now all of a sudden, the price of eggs have risen to ridiculous prices for a carton of eggs, a dozen. So there is a shortage of chickens? Does anybody know? Does anybody have a clue what's going on? But besides the fact of that, damn, I've lost my mind because I've been thinking about these eggs. I went to the grocery store and I said, man, I can't believe eggs is this goddamn high. But as I've been trying to say, is that there has been a lot of things going on as far as certain things. Now, like I said, there's another thing that I wanted to touch on a little bit is dealing with, science and fiction. So a lot of movies that we watch today, some of them have based realities and they have scientific principles, but yet they dabble into the land of make-believe, of delusional shit. But I would like to ask the question to those who can answer it. If science is supposed to be fact, and there's no belief, it's supposed to be fact based on certain evidence, then how do we have a category put as science fiction? I don't get it. So like I said, if science is supposed to be fact, then how is fiction incorporating with science fact? So I don't get it if you're going to say science fiction, aka sci-fi. Because if you were to say, well, it's fictional, it's just adding scientific principles and ideas. But it's scientific principles and ideas, yet that is a morale or a conjuring of fact if science can't be questioned. So if science can't be questioned because it's a fact on certain things by principles and laws and, by mathematics and components and this and that, then why do we allow to have a category such as science fiction, which incorporates fiction into science? It's just a confusing realm to get you to think, oh, well, it's science fiction, so it's made up. It doesn't really exist like that. But yet, science is a fact based on the scientific evidence, and which cannot be questioned and should not be questioned because science is a fact. So, I mean, I've had one of my podcasts I had beforehand said, a long time ago, and I heard it from one other podcast guy. He's like, apparently there was a big octopus, and they were saying, oh, like a Moby Dick style, 1,000 leagues under the sea, and apparently one of the killer whales out in the middle ocean in Antarctica, they're fucking huge. That the only thing that could possibly kill them is not even a great white shark. There's another fucking killer whale. But one of them great whales had washed across on shore, and they had suction cups on. And they had scars and marks and claws, which would suggest that it'd be from an octopus. And the suction cup was the size of I think it was like the size of like a Buick or something, like a car size. And they, at that point in time, scientists were like, oh, there's no such thing as a giant octopus or squid in the bottom of the ocean. There's no way, man. It can't be, bro. Because they didn't have any evidence to suggest it. It's just a theory. No evidence to suggest any of it. Just a theory, just somebody talking. Somebody having an imagination. Thinking it could be, but not sure. But then when one of the killer whales washed ashore, then they found to say, well, based on the evidence of this, it should suggest that had to come from some type of octopus type of creature, because that's the only ones that would be in the sea that could make something like this based on, well, we have small octopus, have similar, and this is big and is similar, but a bigger size. So now it's no longer a theory. It's based on evidence. So we now say that there is a possibility is there is a giant Moby Dick fucking squid in the bottom of the ocean somewhere. And, and this is where I'm kind of going, is because the fact that now that the science has evidence, then they can say now it's fact. But beforehand, it's not like religion, where religion says, why don't you just believe? Why don't you just take a leap of faith and believe? Why do you need evidence to suggest something? And, there was another movie that I watched. I think it was one of the movies. I think it was The Son of God, yes, which was about Jesus Christ. And at the end of the movie, Jesus came back. He rose from the grave and came back. And I remember the one of Jesus' disciples had said, when he saw Jesus, he said he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. That was him. And he says, I don't. He's like, it's impossible. I can't believe it. And Jesus looked at him and said, well, I said, no. Jesus looked at him, and the disciple said, he says, I believe. He said, you believe because you see. Why not just believe? Meaning, why have to see something? Because we're so based on mind, we need to visually or physically have something to be able to be like, okay, now I could put it, instead of going ahead and just believing in something. Many of us believe in something every day. We all believe in something. But with certain situations, just as the fact of that scene, and that happened, Jesus said, why not just believe? Too many times do we just say, oh no, I need evidence, especially from the science community. No, we base everything on evidence. But then religion will say, why don't you just believe? But science doesn't allow that. Science says you have to have fact. It has to be a fact. But once they have a theory to suggest something comes, oh, it is. I can tell you right now, as mankind thinks, we think we've found everything and conquered everything in the earth. No, the fuck we haven't. Look, we cannot go far deep down in the ocean. We don't have a fucking clue what's in the bottom of the ocean. Nor less, I don't think anybody wants to go to the bottom of the ocean. Except maybe James Cameron. He wants to go fucking film Titanic, I guess. I don't know. See what's going on with that. I mean, at this point in time, the ocean is a scary monster. It truly is. We don't have a clue what's down there. The Mariana Trench was founded by accident, if you actually read on it how it was discovered. And that shit just kept going. And they were like, well, I think apparently they ran out of rope. And then they were like, shit, it's just probably the deepest thing we ever. And they just found it by accident, pure accident. But with that in line, that lets you believe that the earth is just continuously a mystery. There's tons of things on this planet that we have no clue on. I mean, it is amazing. It's awesome. But at the same time, it's very frightening. Conspiracies to the left, conspiracies to the right. I think you have flat earthers and globers who are going to be battling it out forever, because the globers are going to say flat earthers are a bunch of morons, and flat earthers to globers are like, you guys just want to pass your theories because everything you have been passed down and you guys read everything verbatim and this is how you were taught. So of course it's going to be true because you found out everything, because you made everything how it is. So there's no question in it because it's now fact. And you can't determine anything else because you don't have an open mind. I don't know. I mean, some people could probably compare as far as that whole thing about, I'm not so comparative about it, but then people could say that, like, flat earthers and globers are compared to, the Matrix versus, like Neo and his crew who want to see the real world. Now, I'll tell you right now, about 95%, I'm not gonna say 99, about 95, maybe 90 to 95% of the fucking population, people would have been said, fuck that, I'm not taking the red pill. All right. Now, if you don't remember that, it's just, you take the red pill, you see how far the rabbit hole goes. Take the blue pill, wake up and believe whatever you want to believe. Now, if you had an idea what the real world looked like, and the real world was, as far as people thought, the Matrix was the real world, but then if you actually got the glimpse to see what the real world looked like, which was out of the Matrix, fucked up, all jacked up, looking broke down as hell, eating eggs and looked fucked up, milk and all that shit. I'm telling you right now, majority of y'all lying ass motherfuckers talking about, oh, I want to go be in the real world, I wanted this. Y'all some bitches to be living in the Matrix, living the fucking lie. Y'all have been like, fuck that. I'll take the blue pill and I'll believe whatever I need. But say, damn, I had a fucked up dream. But y'all would have been like living the fucking lie. All right? So don't sit here and say, no, I want to see the real world. I want to see some fucked up shit. No, bullshit. All right? So that's my little spiel. Now, another thing, I'm a big alien person. Aliens, I do believe in extraterrestrial aliens. I do believe that there's too much space out there for just nothing. I mean, it's just be nothing out there except for here on Earth. I mean, as many as species and creatures and animals we have here on Earth, let alone, you're telling me out there in the universe, the observable universe, as far as we could see, that we're the only ones? Bullshit. All right? There's too much of things going on to be like, oh, there's just us. What the fuck are you talking about? Stop smoking the pipe. Fucking stop drinking the Jim Beam. Clear your head. Get a cup of black coffee. Sober the fuck up. Just let her know that what you're talking about sounds insanity. All right? Like, my thing is, if so many people have these sightings of aliens and alien abductions and visit, is it just me? And I'm just trying to touch on this. It's always prominent rich people in the middle class or upper class, that have, PhD degrees and all types of shit. They're a contributor to society. And they're the ones that tends to happen, that they see these aliens and stuff. You know what I'm saying? When's the last time a person's actually had, when's the last time you had something happen in the hood area, your hoodness area? You know what I'm saying? And the projects, the ghetto, the trailer homes or something like that. When the last time you had anybody from there that, oh, y'all saw an alien, y'all, this motherfucker came down, motherfucker was like, yo, get here, man. You know the last time you see some shit like that? Nah. You know what the fuck would happen? They'd be like, look, motherfucker over there off the fucking block. Man, fuck him. All right. Who was that anyway? Oh, that's Crazy Leroy. That motherfucker on drugs. Fuck out of here. That's exactly how they would place it. And to me, if aliens are supposed to be intelligent, what are they saying? They just want to talk to intelligent people. They don't want to go see, I'm not going to say less intelligent people, but they don't want to see other shit that's just kind of whack or fucking crazy looking. But they're just going to get the prominent people, the contributors, to show them all the things going on. What the fuck, man? You telling me aliens are fucking biased? That they have a selection that they want to choose and pick from? You know what I'm saying? They stay away from the fucking hood and ghetto areas. They're like, well, if I go to a high crime area, the fucking alien spaceship might be fucking jacked. You'll have fucking Leroy and fucking Billy Bob driving down the fucking, highway, hovering over, blaring fucking music, saying, bro, look at that shit, man. I'm riding this fucking spaceship, baby. What the I mean, some of this shit don't fucking add up. I don't get it. Really don't get it. maybe I'm the only one that's asking these questions, and maybe they're just saying, oh, he's talking about conspiracy theories, so don't worry about it. He's secretly crazy. I'm just saying, pointing out an obvious to a lot of things, putting it, not all my, ducks in a row, but I'm just kind of putting them slowly there and say, hey, that don't make no sense. I'm just saying, and then what's another thing? Sometimes, a lot of times, these people talk about it. They go to the mothership and to the aliens, and next thing you know, they find themselves, being experimented on, and it's like, what is kind of, they're being thoroughly examined. I'm like, the fuck is going on? What do you mean thoroughly examined on? What the hell? Like, you start to think a little bit, be like, hold up, and be like, man, rewind. What do you mean the aliens are thoroughly examining you? Like, they giving you a physical? Like, the fuck? Like, so you telling me the aliens have a degree in medical? Were they going to be like, hold on, we're going to have to check, make sure this is, hold on, I'm going to go to the left, turn your head to the left and call. What? I don't fucking get it. You know what I'm saying? The shit, it sounds a little bit off, if you get my drift. But hey, what do I know? I'm just me doing my podcast, hoping I have more than 2 listeners listening, because if I have more than 2, ooh, baby, I'm cooking with Cresco. Shit. Give me that Cresco, which is fat lard. If for some of you old school guys listening, it's that white fat lard that you put in to supplement instead of using oil. But honestly, I think if you use Cresco, that shit pops even worse than regular oil. And if you get hit, that shit, you be like, it burns. But I'm just saying, this is some trickery. Oh, and here's another one. Christmas just passed, and one of the hot commodities for electronics. People are gonna say, "Oh, it's the Xbox." No, it's the PlayStation 5. No, one of the hot commodities is the Oculus. It's the VR set that has apps and it's built in. You put it on your head and you get to do 360. It's pretty cool. It's awesome. I mean, hell. And literally, if you goes through, you can watch movies and they have one part where it's a space explorer thing, and they can actually feel like you're really in space. You're really on the International Space Station, and their astronauts is right there in front of you, and you're like in the International Space Station, and you're like looking around at all 360, and it's pretty cool. You're like, wow. Now, I said, I do believe in the space program, but at the same time, I do believe there is trickery that happens behind the scenes. Okay? I do believe that. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz thing. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Okay? Pay no attention to him. Keep your eyes and head straight. Stop diverting to the left. Okay? Because when you look to the left, you fucking up what I'm trying to show you straight ahead. But you want to be all goddamn nosy and shit and looking to the left, you about to see some shit that you ain't supposed to be seeing. Alright? So, literally, as many of us want to look straight, some of you assholes, including me, because I'm an asshole with all y'all that want to look around, I'm looking and seeing the man behind the curtain because I can see his goddamn feet underneath the curtain. Alright? So, what I'm saying is, they've put so much good technology that one person on YouTube had said it before. He says, look, the technology that they're going to be doing is getting better and better and better. And there's a thing called augmented contact lenses. And it's a little device that you put in your eyes, like a contact, but it's a computer chip that's controlled with you being in the real world, but yet you can possess things that come up in 3D. Literally. Based on the computer program. And the one guy then it says, he's like, as much as this has been fun to make this video, there is a time coming. And he said, there is a time coming where you will not be able to tell the difference. And that is fucking true. The Oculus gives you a point. Now that, granted, they slowly integrate little like fun kid games that obviously look kiddish games to break you in a little bit. They don't want to divulge the whole realness to you because then that'll just fuck you up in general. You'll be like, holy fucking shit. They'll probably freak the hell after half everybody. So they slowly integrate it by breaking it down, by bringing little kids things. You know, they can't throw all the hats all at once. They got to break it down slowly. Show you still piece by piece. Make it fun for you. Make you say, oh, this is just kid game. This is just fun. And then you're like, oh, I'm playing a little bit more serious game, or I'm watching something cool. And then, you know, with the space thing, they had the NASA and Interspace Station. I was like, man, this is pretty cool. It makes you feel like I'm actually in the space station. I'm floating around, but at the same time, I'm seeing them. They're talking about like, we're rocking the science, you know, we're doing great science. You know, we're growing lettuce in space, whatever. I don't care if you're growing lettuce, whatever. You know, they're floating in the International Space Station. And I mean, but put it in like in perspective. Yeah, maybe they are in the International Space Station up there floating, but I don't believe they're in outer space. I believe they're still part of the Earth's, you know, part. I don't think they're out there, but at the same time, believe it or not, I tell you, there's some shit that they probably like, look, go to the studio, get them wires, hook it up, get that program running, make these motherfuckers believe, all right? We're going to rock the science on this, on how well we can fool motherfuckers. And I'm telling you, this is what they're doing. Not all the time. Only on certain occasions when they need to do it. But the other times, you know, they're trying to make things real, but then sometimes we just like, look, we can't get to do what we need to do, you know. I mean, and I've been fighting the argument with this for years. And for instance, you know, it's like, I don't like to talk about religion because there's a very touchy, sensitive subject. Because if you talk to religion with certain people, every religion has a point where people don't want to talk about things because they feel kind of like it almost puts them in backs them in the corner. Sometimes I would talk to my mom and I said, you know, what if the people who wrote, I asked who wrote the Bible, and he was like, oh, it was, the disciples that wrote the Bible. Okay, where'd they get information? Oh, well, you know, something like, did they see it happen? Be like, you're asking too many questions. And when you're asking questions, people are like, hey, you just, no, look, it's in the Bible. But like, how did they know? How did they see it happen? Look, you're asking too many questions. Look, I'm just a person that put in the obvious to anything, just to, you know, hey, you know, but it make it to where you can't ask questions. And this is coming from the religion side. Now, and we already talked about the science side where science says it's a fact and they make it to where it's not a belief. It's a fact. And if you try to question it, you get showed, oh, you dumb motherfucker. What, you don't know about this? You're like, nah, I don't know. I'm just trying to ask a question. Oh, it's a fact. Like, for instance, 1 + 1 = 2. We all know this. But then why is there 4 symbols? You have the number 1, you have the plus sign, then you have the number 1, then you have the equal sign. Technically, I'm telling you right now, that's 4 fucking symbols. So 1 + 1 = what? 2. But you have 4 symbols that are shown if you write it on a piece of paper. 4 symbols, but it equals 2. I'm just saying. But they will look at you and say, you dumbass, the hell are you talking about? 1 + 1 = 2. How do you not know this? Well, it's obviously 2 because it's been taught to us for fucking forever as far as we fucking know. But who's the real person? That's like saying, who said the word motherfucker sounded bad? That, oh, that's a bad word. You can't say motherfucker. You can't say shit. That's a bad word. It's a fucking word, right? But somebody down the line said, that just sounds inappropriate. That sounds wrong. It sounds vulgar. Who the fuck made that up to sound? I mean, if that's sounding vulgar, mean, rude, whatever, then how's it me not saying, you know what? I don't like you saying the word peanut butter or cool. That is a bad word. It's vulgar. It's mean. No one thought about that, but people saying this the way you're saying it. Okay, about this. How about peanut butter you? How about that? Yeah, peanut butter. You know what? I mean, it's the same principle. I'm just stressing how I'm wording it. But who said the word fucker, shit, all the cuss words is a bad word? Who came up with that? Oh, society deemed those words to be bad because they just sound bad. So it'd be the same principle as the person who came up and said 1 + 1 = 2. You'd be like, why is it? Well, because I fucking said so. That's fucking why. That's how I'm looking at it at this point. But I'm asking questions, right? But in the world we live in now these days, if you ask questions, they don't like you when you ask questions because they don't know the answer to your question if you're really going at it with them. But, I'm just asking questions maybe other people haven't asked before or haven't brought up. I mean, it is what it is. Always be enthused to ask questions. Don't be afraid not to ask questions. I mean, shit. Matter of fact, if anybody knows who invented cuss words, let me know. Put a shout out. I would like to know who invented the word ass, shit, fuck, goddamn, motherfucker, punk, bitch. Oh, you a bitch ass motherfucker. I want to know who invented these words. I want to know who invented these cuss words and felt that, it's inappropriate. And, I just want to know, because at that point in time, I want to know if someone says, hey, Yosemite, I said, that's a bad word. Or somebody says, peekaboo, that's a bad word. I'm going to make my own fucking language because I think that's improper. I think it evens the playing field out, right? It makes everything even, right? Don't leave any room for judgment. People say, what? This is my language. This is what I'm bringing to the table. All right? Asking questions, right? It's the only thing I can do is ask questions. But, people don't like people asking questions. It is what it is, I guess. Do whatever you want, right? I don't know. Well, what was that? Oh, what the heck? I got music playing in the background for no freaking reason. Oh. Well. That song and music melody at the end. Well, it's come to end for the 66th episode here on the Coolest of the Cool. We didn't even take a break because we got into this topic really hands down. All right. So next time you run into a scientist or a religious person, ask them some questions. You're going to get yelled at. You're going to get called probably you're stupid. But if you really ask some questions, be a man and fucking do it anyway. All right. So you heard it here live on the Coolest of the Cool, the Koolykool Show with your host Brent. Be sure to check us out on our other social media platforms. Follow me on my YouTube channel, the Coolest of the Cool, the Koolykool Show, Koolykool. Follow me on my TikTok channel. I make some funny ass videos. Yes, I do. Yes, god damn it. Be sure to hear us on other social media platforms. I already said it anyway. I'm just still trying to think of some more questions to piss some more people off. I'm just joking. But for those 2 listeners listening, thank you for listening. Hope to get more, But anyway, you already hear live on the Coolest of the Cool, the Koolykool Show with your host Brent. Have a blessed and a scientific rest of your day and or week. Take care. Bye.